So often in life, you know, we buy something and we hear people say, oh, did you get buyer's remorse? You know, or you hear about somebody that purchases a large ticket item and the next day they go, oh, I don't know if that was a good idea. And we label that buyer's remorse. And when we're talking about onboarding and bringing new people into your business, I want you to think about there is such a thing as acceptance remorse. And acceptance remorse is all around somebody being really excited, fronting up, turning up to your workplace, and then all of a sudden going, oh, I wonder if I made the right decision. I wonder if actually this place is right for me or this team is right for me. So welcome to Onboarding for Success. Sarah and I are going to share with you 3 very short, sharp, practical sessions which are going to help you elevate your onboarding to a new heights, because we want you to make sure that you set up your new team members for success, increase belonging and engagement as quickly as possible. Now, always remember too that onboarding starts the second they sign the contract. It's not about the first day. And so often people go through and they think, right, we've got an onboarding, we've got a checklist, and we're going to start checking it off from day one. What we're going to say is, no, actually start it back from the second that they actually accept and the second that they sign that contract. And if we look at a lot of management theories, leadership theories over the years in psychology, when we get that sense of belonging and that sense of safety immediately, we get better results from the person, but they actually get a bigger sense of achievement.
And some of the greatest benefits when we look at really sound onboarding practices is we get some very quick uplifts in productivity for the individual involved. The individual gets to understand the culture of the workplace a lot faster, and of course that then leads to retention for the business, which is a win for everyone. And just to pick up on Kirsten's comment around creating a sense of belonging, you know, that's incredibly important and is one of the foundations of what culture looks like in the workplace. So those first few days and weeks really give your new person insights into what your culture looks like, what kind of a place this is to work at, and also how we do things around here. And when we have really strong onboarding practices, you know, this does help drive engagement for the individual much faster, and it decreases the likelihood of them looking at shifting out of your business within that 30, 60, 90-day period. It also speeds up how quickly they come up to speed in their own jobs. So when they've got targets and goals in place and they understand what to expect and what's expected of them, they're likely to achieve much faster in the workplace. That's also going to lead to customer satisfaction, and we're all looking for that, let's face that. But also it's going to improve the satisfaction of the hiring manager. We mustn't forget the hiring manager in this process. Yes, they've gone through this process to get somebody on board. It's very time consuming. So making sure that they're enjoying that part of the process is also just important. And last but certainly not least, one of the things that we identify through a really robust onboarding process is some skill gaps, because we don't all have everything. So understanding what we've got, where we're learning, and what learning looks like for each other is a really great thing to identify throughout that onboarding process.
It's great, isn't it, Sarah? Because when we think about it, you know, this session is all about onboarding to engage, and then we're going to have a look at how do we actually set up for success and then elevate. And when we understand what passion, what strengths people are bringing to the position, and we understand where that gap is, we can actually set everybody up for success. And one of the things that we really recommend that you do as part of, you know, this listening to this episode is actually do an onboarding audit. And it doesn't matter if you've got nobody starting right here, right now, but what you can do is with this onboarding audit, you can go back to people that have actually joined your business in the last sort of 3-6 months, and you complete a quick survey with them. Now, that is one of the wealth of knowledge that is so often untapped. We often will onboard people, we'll say to them, how did it go? Like, oh yeah, that's fine, but they say it more flippantly. So what we're saying with this onboarding audit is that you go back to new starters, and you even go to people as they're progressing through onboarding, and you ask them some key questions. The other thing we actually recommend that you do as part of an onboarding audit is you do an end-to-end analysis. And what that is it's looking for every little touch point along the way and looking at what worked, what didn't work, and where your key improvement areas are. So here's some key questions that you can include in an onboarding audit. The first one is, did you immerse that person into your business from the second that they signed? Did you capitalize on their passions and their strengths to start with? Did you have the right people teaching them and coaching them through the right things? Did you overload them with admin when in actual fact they actually could have been doing something practical within your business? And one thing that I really love too is just making sure, did you actually make your onboarding engaging, creating a sense of belonging and also a sense of winning straight away?
So our challenge to you for this week, of course, is to implement those tips. So we want you to identify where you can build culture into your onboarding process. Look at how you can increase engagement, get them to understand how things work in your business, and make sure everybody's satisfied through that journey. And as Kirsten's just talked to, get that audit underway. Even if you don't have somebody starting in the immediate future, no time like the present to understand what you've done, what could be improved, and how to make a difference next time round. So join us next week when we look at engaging for success.